This video is powered by, as always, entertainment. If you enjoyed this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways for access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The Kill Connor Clubhouse, early access to the Cinema Room podcast, being part of polls for future videos, and other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the video. Jedi Fallen Order is fucking spectacular. I bleeped that because if you swear in the first minute or so of a video, you're more likely to get demonetized, so I'd rather avoid that. I went into this game skeptical. I mean, how couldn't I be? It's published by EA, a company that has downright squandered time and time again their rights to the Star Wars brand. But I had some hope, and that hope was Respawn. A hard-working, passionate dev team that has some great minds working on this game, and my god, thank fuck. See, we can swear now, but shh, we don't want YouTube catching wind of this travesty. But thank fuck my hope paid off, because my lord, what an incredibly engaging, well-designed, intriguing, and compelling experience. I might even dub it the definitive Star Wars game. You know, until LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga launches, and then it's no longer the definitive Star Wars game, because the definitive one will have been released in all its blocky glory. But in all seriousness, Jedi Fallen Order to me is the Arkham Asylum of Star Wars games. A franchise that had a few decent and good entries, but never really managed to get off the ground until one release changed all of that. Jedi Fallen Order is the Star Wars experience we've been waiting for in every sense of the word. Every sense of the words that I've just spoken. It does everything right. I'm going to try and keep this a bit spoiler free and then talk some spoilers later on, of which I'll warn you about beforehand. It's kind of hard to gush over this game properly without delving into spoilers, but I guess I'll try to show some restraint. We start off on the planet of Bracca, a planet dedicated to salvaging old ships and whatnot. We get this wonderful introduction to the game as it pans down from above the planet in typical Star Wars fashion. This game looks gorgeous. Sure, it's no DICE game running on Frostbite, but the Unreal Engine served this game incredibly well. They needed the Unreal Engine for this game to shine in the way that it does. Compromising on the Frostbite visuals is no biggie in my book. It still looks stunning regardless. We also get a little listen to some in-canon Star Wars music, as in not John Williams, but John Aliens, meaning like an alien band. That's not actually the name of the band. It's very Star Warsy and I love it. Just one of the multitude of things that was a really nice little detail. We move on to getting our introduction to the guy we're going to be playing as. Cal Kestis, a former Jedi Padawan on the run from the Empire as they explore the stars searching for any possible remnants of the Jedi Order, wiping them from the face of the galaxy. That's the basic introduction. This opening has a ton of little references to the prequels and to Clone Wars. Obviously, we've got the downed Republic ships all over the place. There's little dialogue making reference to the Clone Wars, along with piles of battle droids and clone helmets. I love how this game just brings to life Star Wars. Not just the original trilogy era, but it makes it feel like an era of transition. One where people still remember the Clone Wars. It's not this ancient battle that took place a long time ago, as it was referred to in the original trilogy. People remember this shit, even though it's been some years since. Oh, and I need to talk about this one moment from the opening. Oh, fuck. Is this a spoiler? Ah, damn it, this is such a difficult video to make. Okay, let's say it's a spoiler. Skip over it with the timestamp shown now if you want to go in totally blind. So anyway, let's talk about it. After Cal's mate falls from a great height and Cal has to use the Force to save him, risking outing himself as a Jedi, he's on the train, or space train, because this is Star Wars and we're in space. Cal falls asleep and has a Force vision, which, my fucking god, it feels like it's one from the movies, or Clone Wars, or Rebels, or any other piece of Star Wars media. I don't know why I just started listing things. It's so immersive and makes you feel like a Jedi in every single way. The way as you turn, the room you're in changes, the corridor gets longer and stretches, things feel not quite right. It's beautifully done to give the effect of a real Force vision, like something from The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi. Also, Cal's master sounded so familiar to me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. At first I thought it was Dan Green because he sounds like the Pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh! But then I realized it's just fucking Knuckles from Sonic Boom, and it never fails to make me laugh every time I hear his voice now.
Apprentice, mark well and listen.
Master.
Trust only in the Force.
Okay, the spoiler is done. I'll try my best not to touch spoilers for the next little while and focus on gameplay and non-spoilery story things. So Cal is now running away from the Empire, and we've got this lovely set piece on the train. For one, the environment is stunning, so well detailed and put together, along with, oh shit, 1 second, the soundtrack for this game is absolutely magnificent. It sounds like John Williams so much. Like, you know when something sounds like John Williams because you'll be like, Huh. This music sounds like the good Harry Potter films. Along with the random dialogue from stormtroopers and the perfectly set up events that make every single set piece an absolute joy to play. You get taught the combat basics and whatnot, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. I want to talk about this whole opening before I get into the nitty gritty of gameplay and level design, etc. You reach the end of the train and you're confronted by the second sister Inquisitor, basically the main antagonist of this game. You engage in some combat which ultimately you're meant to lose before being saved by your future crew, Cere Junda and Grease. He's basically Phil from Hercules, like he's literally the same fucking character.
Get a load of the kid. He thinks we're back in the Clone Wars.
Come on, kid, come on, fight back. Come on, you can take this bum. This guy's a pushover, look at him.
Cere explains they've been looking for a Jedi like you, and that their mission, and now your mission, is to rebuild the Jedi Order. Now, spoiler, not a real spoiler alert. This is a bit of a joke. So if you this isn't gonna spoil the game. Don't worry, I promise. This is a bit I'm doing. Just let's start. I fucking ruined it now. Let me just start again and just know that I'm not actually going to spoil, so don't like click off or anything. Cere explains they've been looking for a Jedi like you, and their mission, and now your mission, is to find a way to rebuild the Jedi Order. Now, spoiler alert, but if you've seen the Star Wars films, you'll know that Cal Kestis and Cere Junda and Four Arms Phil here, well, they don't do that, do they? So the question is, what happens to them? Do they die? Do they give up? Do they survive and also not succeed? Who knows? That's the real question here. Maybe they train a new generation of Jedi somewhere out in the unknown regions. We'll never know unless you play the game and find out. But that's really the whole gist of the story setup. You're now on a treasure hunt for Cere's old master Cordova, not like on a hunt to find him, like on a mission for him, like it's his mission. You're doing it for him. Fucking hell. Which I fucking predicted to the T, by the way. Next up, we get this shot of Cal deep in one of the temples, standing opposite that which is probably a recording of an older man being displayed from BD1's eye. Now, I've tried my best to do some digging and figure out who the fuck this guy is, and I think I may have figured it out. So, I was doing some reading on all of the side characters that are in this game, and whilst reading about Cere Junda, the Jedi Master that's Cal's mate in this game, she's apparently had a set of prequel comics following her as a Padawan with her master, whose name is Eno, again, it's just written down, Cordova, and he looks like this. And so, I mean, it's this fucking guy, isn't it? Tell me I'm wrong. Or don't tell me I'm wrong, because I'm right. Across all of the galaxy to find ancient temples that will lead you to a key to unlock something hidden away. There you go. You're following? You up to speed? Nice. I absolutely love treasure hunting stories. I mean, it's one of the reasons I loved Assassin's Creed for so many years, exploring these ancient temples and tombs, searching for artifacts, and I mean, Star Wars just lends itself so perfectly to this type of storytelling. With the rich lore and history, it's marvelous and a perfect way to tackle a game of this nature. I mean, KOTOR did it a very long time ago. That was the premise of that game, in a sense. This game melds a lot of different aspects of previous Star Wars games. You've got elements from KOTOR with the treasure hunting through old ancient temples, along with kind of the motivations of a Force Unleashed. It's pretty interesting, but they throw their own stuff in the mix. It's very unique. Now you've got your goal, the game lets you loose. Every so often you'll unlock a new planet for story reasons. The main ones for exploration being the hub area of Bogano, the forests of Kashyyyk, and the homeworld of the ancient Zepho, called Zepho. I wish Earth was called human. And the dark planet of Dathomir. You also have other places to visit for set pieces and such, but I won't spoil those until later when I talk about spoilers. They're really cool though. Every planet is essentially constructed like a labyrinth, a maze that has many paths for you to take. You can circle back, create shortcuts, discover new areas when you unlock new skills, and explore these places at your leisure. Something I'd liken it to in modern gaming is Tomb Raider 2013 or God of War. It's very similar to both those games in that sense, but there's something about it that feels unique. I think it's more the fact that you genuinely feel like you get lost sometimes. Like, there's no fast travel. It's not obvious where to go or where you came from, and I love that. Getting in and out of areas is equally a challenge. Not just the getting to the objective part, but also returning to a ship poses the same kind of difficulty. And I think it makes it all the more satisfying when you finally manage to do it. Like I keep saying, these worlds are so very detailed. They just look so Star Warsy in their design, and exploring them is honestly a joy. Navigation is great fun, animations are sweet, and I think this game feels better to play than it does to look at, because I remember seeing gameplay and thinking it looked a tad janky, but upon actually playing it, you don't feel it, and it looks great when it's in your hands, so that's also a very good thing. You got climbing and jumping and swinging and shit. Like I said, new abilities open new paths. Once you get force push, you can knock down rocks. Once you have force pull, you can pull some things around, like bridges and such. And then when you've got wall runs, you can use those to reach other areas. Jedi jump to reach higher and further ledges. BD1 comes with upgrades to hack you to other areas. Oh yeah, BD1's your little droid guy. I mean, he was all over the marketing, I'm sure you know who he is, but he's such a great character, honestly. Now, I don't want to, like, say something blasphemous, but as a longtime Star Wars fan, I actually think he might be my favorite droid in the franchise. I know, R2 is sacred, I know, but BD1 is just so goddamn compelling, I can't help it. Like, the way he's animated to look like a dog, the color on the back of his head changing, the way he conveys emotions with his beep boops, and his relationship with Cal is so sweet, and I swear I'd die for BD1 if I had to. He's such a stand-up guy. Alright, let's talk combat, lads, because... Sorry, I said lads. Let me try again. Let's talk combat, lads, and also women that might be watching this video, because I respect you too. Lads definitely isn't a blanket term for people that I use. I'm just sexist. Because, oh my god, it's so good. I love it. One criticism I do have is, look, I get it, but let me slice people up. Like, if I'm cutting into someone with a lightsaber, let me cut them in half, or at least cut some arms off. I know it's a Disney-owned property, and so they don't want the age rating to be higher, which it would be if you're cutting people up, but like, it would be so nice to have some dismemberment. I know they have it with droids and aliens, but imagine cutting a stormtrooper in half. Please, it'd be so good for a sequel. Come on, just find a way to give it to me. Don't take that out of context. But the combat is mind-blowingly satisfying. As you progress, you unlock more and more and more. Now, this is something I mentioned in my Assassin's Creed 2 10 years later video. I love it when games unlock new abilities as you progress through the story, not buying them through a pause menu. Even 90% of the way through Jedi Fallen Order, I was still getting new tools and new skills and things relating to the story that I could use moving forward. It felt that there was constant progression and like anything could really happen. Lightsaber stuff was some of the most cool, but that heads into spoiler territory, and I'd rather save that for a spoiler section to talk about it. The gameplay is somewhat like Dark Souls in a way, with a large focus on parrying and guarding. It's also somewhat like The Witcher, maybe a mix of those two somewhat. You do a lot of dodging and parrying and perfectly timed attacks to beat your enemies. You then combine that with your force powers to pull off some sick looking moves. It just feels incredibly weighty and real. Cutting down stormtroopers to fighting one-on-one with purge troopers, it just feels incredible, and they've honestly outdone themselves with the depth of combat here. It just gets deeper and deeper the more you progress through the game. The lightsabers also look bloody great too. I mean, look at this thing, and the sound it makes when you ignite it. Fuck me, that gets me off. Also, the battles are so well structured. The attack patterns are something you have to master, and so these aren't bosses you're going to beat first try. I found myself coming back 2 or 3 times on average, sometimes more for the harder bosses. They feel so satisfying to fight, whilst also looking flashy as hell. I love it. Talking sabers, this game has a huge degree of customization for your lightsaber, which opens up more options the more you progress and unlock story-related things. But it's split into a few categories. You got color, emitter, switch, sleeve, and material, all of which are interchangeable and can allow you to create your own personal lightsabers with the things you find in the world. It reminds me of that old create your own lightsaber toy. I have one of those. It was incredibly nice and fun. This is like that, but better, because you get to murder people with it afterwards. Incredible. You also have a degree of customization for Cal and BD1, and for your ship, which is always nice. The amount of interaction you have, the details in the planets, and the balancing of combat, puzzles, exploration, and set pieces is just fantastic. This game is around 15 to 20 hours, and sometimes that's all you need. Too many games these days try to be 30 to 50 hours, and it's just not necessary every single time. I can't stand playing games that are drawn out, and don't get me wrong, The Witcher 3, Skyrim, incredibly long, amazing games, but this game is the exact length that it needed to be, and it nails that perfectly. Flaws? What do you mean flaws? Don't make me say some bad things about this game. I love this game. Okay, fine, flaws. This game has some on the technical side, mostly. Like, there's some frame drops when you exit buildings, load times upon respawning can be kind of long sometimes, and textures can take a while to load in sometimes, and it's a bit of a bitch. I feel like this can be easily ironed out with patches though, so it's fine. It's not at all a huge detraction from the game, and we can blame EA for not giving them maybe another month to perfectly polish everything. It's always fun to blame EA. Fuck you, EA. See, wasn't that nice? Another issue I found, however, was on the level design front. When you're sliding down things, which happens a considerable amount, surprisingly, you tend to sort of slide about and hit walls a lot, taking away from the scene. I found myself missing the mark for things pretty often because it wasn't exactly precise. The same goes for any part in which you're skydiving. It's minor, but it's an issue and could very easily be fixed up. It doesn't take away from the game in my opinion, but it's annoying nonetheless. Okay, I think that's the base stuff covered. Now let's talk spoilers and story. My favorite thing to do. I only want to go over major things because breaking down the whole story would make this video far too long. But let's see. Okay, right. First thing is the whole deal with Cal's past. In order to learn new skills, you have to remember them. Like, Cal has suppressed these memories from his teachings as a Padawan, and so has to focus to remember particular things in time of need. Throughout the game, you get these random flashbacks to young Cal in training. Eventually, they culminate in this brilliant set piece. Young Cal has been called to do some Jedi training aboard a Republic cruiser that he's on. As you make your way, you interact with the many clones aboard the ship, feeling like something right out of a Clone Wars episode. And in this moment, I know exactly what was coming. You head in and you're greeted by Sonic Boom Knuckles, and you complete a set of parkour exercises. Making your way into the chamber your master is in is where things truly kick off. We see the clones standing behind Knuckles from Sonic Boom get a message from Palpatine.
Master, are you okay?
Something is.
No! No!
The way Knuckles just cuts down the clone is so fucking cool. It feels like a Jedi at the height of their power. You're then thrust into this set piece in which you have to escape from the cruiser with your master, using all the skills you've learned in training. It's so well put together, the music being the same that plays during the Order 66 scenes in Revenge of the Sith is a wonderful touch. And to top it all off, seeing the moment Cal's master dies and he passes on his lightsaber is so emotional. Cameron Monaghan's performance is absolutely stellar throughout this game. Getting to see Order 66 from the perspective of someone who was a part of it is just so well done. Just seeing this kid going about his normal day and suddenly he's being shot at by people he thought were his allies. Seeing his master killed and the trauma that comes from the event that single-handedly wiped out the Republic, it's honestly chilling, and this set piece does it incredible justice. The second major story point I wanted to touch upon was the section on Ilum. For Star Wars fans, this was such a fucking treat. Going to a location we've seen before in Clone Wars, specifically to make our own lightsaber, find our own Kyber Crystal. It's so well designed, like every level is in this game, but the weight it carries, the story that's tethered to it, it's so fucking good. It's also the height of BD1 and Cal's relationship, seeing how far they've come and BD1 pushing Cal to go that extra step further when he thinks all hope is lost. And man, that moment when he uses the broken Kyber Crystal to build his lightsaber and then you get to choose the color, the game just throwing new stuff at you all the time, almost at the end of the game, and we unlock a whole new host of colors to use. I went with Cyan because I love how it looks. Reminds me of Luke's saber from episode 4, just that incredible light blue color, I love it. And not just that, but now we also unlocked the split saber move so that we can go all fucking dual wielding on their asses and shit. I just love how we're this deep into the game and we're still getting new stuff constantly. It's such a perfectly structured experience. I loved all the stuff with the Night Sisters, with Malakos on Dathomir, but like I said, going into detail on all of this would take way too much time, and I'm not looking to make another hour-long video. Final thing I wanted to touch upon was the arc of the Second Sister and her history with Seer. That development was brilliant. Learning who the Second Sister was before, learning of what happened to her and Seer, and how their paths are entwined together was just wonderful. I felt so attached to and invested in these characters, and the way they layered their arcs together was just so well done. It's not easy to achieve that level of depth and layering. I genuinely felt invested in whether Trilla would or wouldn't turn back. I desperately wanted her to by the end. I was so invested that I didn't notice or think of what ended up coming next, and my god, when I heard that breathing, I stopped breathing.
I've carried so much hate for you.
No. Oh no! Oh no! Oh fuck! We are fucked! Oh fuck! Oh no!
It's him.
Damn right, it's him! Ah! Oh, she is dead! Oh god! Oh my heart!
Let's just
Oh shit!
run!
Yeah, fucking run! What are you doing? What? What?
Wise to surrender.
You'd be wise to fucking surrender. Oh shit! Run! Run!
Probably.
Oh my fucking god, we're dead! Holy fuck! Oh shit! What is happening? Oh fuck!
Look out!
Let's get the fuck out of here! Holy shit! It's fucking destroying this place. Oh, that music. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh shit. The elevator. The elevator. Go. Go.
Let's get out of here.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh no! Seeing Vader, proper Vader, this is Rogue One ending Vader in full force, I was losing my mind. The way he just uses the Force to throw Seer aside like she's nothing, tears through Triller, rips the fucking base apart with the Force, felt genuinely, utterly terrifying. I was scared for my life as I ran away. When I was in the elevator and I thought I'd escaped, I needed a moment to catch my breath in real life. Okay, maybe I didn't, but it was fucking tense, man, I'm telling you. And then you open the door and he's there, it's like, nah, that's it, it's over, you're fucked. They barely got out by the skin of their teeth, and it was so real to life Vader. They didn't try and make it so that Cal bested him or stood a chance. No, Cal was fucked. Well and truly fucked. Both him and Seer were, because it's Vader. They did him justice and nailed it. Two well-trained Jedi only barely got away with their lives. He wasn't overused, wasn't even over-mentioned. He was referenced once in passing by a Night Sister who didn't even call him by name. So this ending reveal hit so much harder, it was utterly superb. From start to finish, I completely loved playing through Jedi Fallen Order. This game is just a very clear passion project. I am so happy we got to experience it. I cannot wait to see what else comes out of EA with regards to Star Wars, and I hope this win doesn't go to their head. Keep choosing good teams, keep giving them creative freedom, and for the love of God, keep your scummy business practices out of these games, because there isn't a microtransaction to be seen in Jedi Fallen Order, and it's something to write home about. Keep it up, because these are the kinds of games that Star Wars deserves. Well done, Respawn, and thank you so much for this experience. So what did you think of Fallen Order? Are you yet to play it? Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. Go and check out everything else on my channel. I try to put love and care into everything I make. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Josh Devillier, King Richard III, Smexy Dork, Elska91, Real Cinema in Hawkins, aka HBus12, and Seth. You can join them and support me for just $1 a month, plus access to a ton of things, but that's totally up to you. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you all next time. May the Force be with you.